In my previous video on the Dhammapada, the Buddhist teaching about hatred can never end through hatred but only through non-hatred, I mentioned a little bit why the translation that says our thoughts create our reality and whatever we think, that's what we create, is not quite correct. So today I want a little bit to examine this thing, this kind of new age things about all these self-help books, quite useful ones. Uh, but there is a little bit this thing about thought. Thought is the cause of this, thought is the cause of that. Change your thoughts, change your reality. And I was reading one of those books the other day, and in about 3 pages, thought was mentioned 25 times as the villain of the piece. Now, I want to present a wider perspective and will again mention this Sanskrit word chitta and then the Sanskrit word vritti. Now, vritti is what we call thought. It's a kind of a vibration of a mind vibe, kind of a wave emitted by the mind. And it can be a thought, a mental thought, but it can be a feeling, an emotion, a sentiment. Is whenever there is some form of expression, either a disturbance or creative, whatever, uh, coming from our being. Chitta is more the togetherness, the whole of these feelings, these emotions. Uh, the right word, or at least the one I like to use, is a state of being. That's why the Dhammapada says more, it is our state of being that creates that contributes to create other happiness or unhappiness, not our reality, because it doesn't say you can attract whatever you want, but definitely your state of being can determine, or if not determine, let's say condition, influence the state of contentment and serenity that we have within ourselves. So trying to change the thoughts is a bit, you know, when the waves hit against the rocks and you've got that froth on top of the waves, is trying to remove that froth and thinking that the waves and the ocean are going to change. The important thing instead, and we'll talk a lot about meditation and mindfulness, is to become aware about our state of being rather than individual thoughts just flying all over the place coming from that state of being. What it means is that if my state of being is frustrated, repressed, and very angry, then of course the feelings, the emotions, the thoughts, our expression that will be generated from it will be angry and frustrated and full of reproach. I just give you a small example. Uh, Years ago, uh, I used to be a very resented person. Maybe externally I look very relaxed, very guru-like, but inside, especially when I was walking around, there was this constant chirping, ba 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 ba. What has this one said? What did she say? Why did she say that? And inside, something was really, really being stirred. What happened with time, I realized it was pointless to try to change those individual feelings against this person, that person. But the realization came that my state of mind, so not the thoughts, but the generator of the thoughts, my state of mind was frustrated, reproachful, and resented. That could be due to many causes. Our childhood, previous experiences, could be our environment, our experiences of our environment. could be genetics. My father could be a little bit like that, you know, always a bit brooding and resented and so forth. The important thing for me was not so much to go into very deep psychoanalysis of it, but just be aware of it, just to see what it was doing to my mind, to my body, and how pointless it was. So gradually, through mindfulness, breathing through it, understanding it, sending it loving kindness, it just so happened that one day I was walking and suddenly I realized I was just reflecting on the cosmos all the time. I was quite creative. It had gone. So you can't, you know, say, oh, well, I do this and this for this long and then it will change. No, you have to keep just gently and kindly being aware of it and seeing it. And when it need be, it will also show some of its causes, some of its roots. And then one day you'll begin to see that it gradually, it either gradually goes or suddenly disappears. Of course, I am not saying, and this is very important you understand this, um, this kind of thing doesn't just go forever, completely, 100%. Remainings will be there and they will come back and they will tempt you back and so forth, as well according to life circumstances. These days, you know, I've had challenges and again, I've had to go back to it and back to it and just saying to myself, yeah, it is genuine that I can get pissed off about these events because they are quite irritating, but no point I carry them with me all the time because then they'll take over me and it is pointless. So again, you become aware, it's coming back, it's repeating itself. So let's acknowledge that I've got a certain right to these feelings, but let me not be the slave of them. Okay? So what you are looking at is at the state of being, which is due to your past, also through DNA, genetics, environment, present experiences, but it is these conglomerations of thoughts and feelings which then color your reality and create thoughts. Uh, but the most important thing is through mindfulness to become aware of the state of mind. We'll be talking a lot more about these things, including meditation and so forth. Hope you'll come again. And what can I say? Have a good day.